Catherine O'Hara, the much-admired actress whose face and voice were synonymous with some of the most enduring moments in film and television, has died at 71. Known around the world for Home Alone and Schitt's Creek, her passing comes just 4 months after what would become her final public appearance, leaving fans and colleagues alike grappling with shock and unanswered questions. Her last sighting on the red carpet sparked concern. Viewers noticed something was off: weakness where strength once was, uncertainty where confidence had always lived. Now, with her sudden death, the focus shifts from celebration of her work to the mystery of her final months, and what really happened in the days leading up to this loss. Catherine O'Hara's death has now been formally confirmed. According to her representatives, she passed away at her home in Los Angeles following what was described only as a short-lived illness. No cause of death has been released, and that silence has left a noticeable gap between what is known and what is being withheld. What has appeared instead are fragments of a final timeline. In the early hours of Friday morning, emergency services were called to her residence. A Los Angeles Fire Department spokesperson confirmed that medical aid was requested just before 5 a.m., and that a roughly 70-year-old woman was transported in serious condition. Dispatch information later indicated she was experiencing breathing difficulties shortly before the call was made. From there, the details stop. No medical explanation. No clarification. Just the confirmation that one of Hollywood's most distinctive figures was gone. The last time Catherine O'Hara appeared in public, it did not feel like a farewell, but in hindsight, it reads like a warning. At the 2025 Emmys in September, she walked the red carpet noticeably frail. Her posture was slower, her movements guarded, her energy sharply different from the sharp, theatrical presence audiences were used to. At the time, it was brushed off as age, exhaustion, or simply an off night. No statement followed. No concern was publicly addressed. Then came the silence. Just months later, O'Hara was noticeably absent from the 2026 Golden Globes in January, despite being nominated for Best Supporting Actress on television for the studio. For an actress who had embraced her late career resurgence and awards recognition, skipping a major ceremony without explanation stood out. Especially when peers were present. Especially when the industry was watching. Behind the scenes, the situation appears to have been far more serious. Dispatch audio obtained after her death exposed that O'Hara was experiencing breathing difficulties at home in the early hours of Friday morning. Emergency services were called shortly before 5 a.m. First responders arrived, assessed the situation, and transported her to hospital in critical condition. She did not recover. Taken together, the timeline is unsettling. A visibly weakened public appearance. A sudden withdrawal from high-profile events. Then an emergency marked by respiratory distress and rapid deterioration. None of it confirms a specific cause, but it does raise a difficult question. How long had her health been declining, and how much of it was happening quietly, out of public view, while the world assumed everything was fine? The shock of Catherine O'Hara's death became unmistakably real through the people who knew her best. No statement captured that more clearly than Macaulay Culkin's tribute. Posting a split image, one from Home Alone, the other from their reunion years later, he wrote, "Memoir. I thought we had time. I wanted more." It was not a polished Hollywood farewell. It was raw, unfinished, and filled with regret. The kind of message someone writes when a goodbye comes earlier than expected. That single line reframed their on-screen relationship as something far deeper. O'Hara was not just the frantic, unforgettable mother audiences laughed with every Christmas. To Culkin, she was a lasting presence, someone he believed would still be there later. His words suggest surprise, not long preparation. No sense of a drawn-out goodbye. Just sudden absence. Other reactions followed a similar pattern. Pedro Pascal, who worked with O'Hara on The Last of Us, spoke less about her fame and more about proximity, what it meant to be near her. "There is less light in my world," he wrote, framing her not as a legend, but as a source of warmth and gravity. Justin Theroux shared nothing elaborate at all, just a photo of her on-set chair with her name printed across it. The implication was clear: her presence on set mattered as much as her performance. Ron Howard's response added another layer. He emphasized how she only grew more brilliant each year, a pointed observation for an industry that often sidelines women as they age. His words suggest that O'Hara was not winding down, not fading out, but still ascending creatively when her life ended. Taken together, These reactions form a pattern. No one speaks as if this was expected. No one references a long illness or a slow decline. Instead, they describe loss, interruption, and disbelief. Ahara was not just respected professionally, she was emotionally embedded in the lives and careers of the people around her. And that may be the most telling detail of all. Her death didn't just close a chapter in television history. It broke personal bonds that many assumed would last longer. Catherine Ahara's legacy did not happen by accident. It was built over decades, starting in the pressure cooker of Second City television, where comedy wasn't about punchlines, it was about instincts. Alongside John Candy, Eugene Levy, and Rick Moranis, Ahara learned to disappear into characters completely. No vanity. No hesitation. If a role required absurdity, she went further than anyone else. If it required restraint, she pulled back just enough to make it unsettling. That foundation carried her into film, but it was Home Alone that quietly made her immortal. As Kate McAllister, she wasn't just the frantic mother in a holiday hit, she became part of childhood memory itself. For generations, her face meant safety, panic, humor, and warmth all at once. And yet, despite the scale of that success, she was never trapped by it. She kept choosing work that challenged her rather than repeating what already. Then came Schitt's Creek, and with it, a career resurgence most actors never experience. Moira Rose was a risk, exaggerated, theatrical, borderline alien. Ahara didn't soften her. She sharpened her. The wigs, the voice, the emotional detachment masking vulnerability. It was a masterclass in character control. The industry took notice. Awards followed. In 2020, she won the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series, not as a legacy nod, but as recognition that she was operating at the peak of her powers. If you want stories that look deeper than the headlines, subscribe now. What makes her loss harder to process is that she was still evolving. In 2025's The Studio, Ahara shifted seamlessly between comedy and drama, proving she didn't rely on eccentricity to command a scene. She relied on precision. That same year, she earned rare dual recognition for her work across genres, reinforcing a truth the industry was finally admitting. Catherine Ahara was not a nostalgic figure. She was current. Her resume reflected that range: multiple Emmy wins, numerous nominations across decades, and in 2017, one of Canada's highest honors, appointment to the Order of Canada. It was a formal acknowledgement of what audiences already knew. She wasn't just successful. She was foundational. And that's the uncomfortable part of this moment. Catherine Ahara wasn't remembered because she was done. She was remembered because she was still here, still working, still shaping the industry, until, suddenly, she wasn't. Catherine Ahara's death leaves a noticeable absence in Hollywood's creative ecosystem, particularly in comedy, a space she helped redefine. She represented a rare balance, fearless exaggeration paired with emotional discipline. With her gone, the industry loses not just a performer, but a reference point. Someone who proved that comedy could be intelligent without being cold, absurd without being careless, and enduring without becoming stagnant. What lingers now are the unanswered questions surrounding her final months. A public appearance marked by visible fragility. A sudden withdrawal from major events. An emergency defined by respiratory distress and urgency. None of it has been fully explained, and perhaps it never will be. The silence invites speculation, but more importantly, it highlights how easily decline can be hidden in plain sight, especially when someone has spent a lifetime performing strength. Yet her story does not end in uncertainty. It stretches backward across generations, from SCTV to Home Alone to Schitt's Creek, shaping how comedy is written, performed, and remembered. Younger actors cite her as influence. Audiences grew up with her, then grew old enough to rediscover her brilliance in a completely different form. That continuity is rare. That kind of cultural permanence is earned. Catherine Ahara didn't just make people laugh. She set a standard for how long relevance can last when talent is paired with discipline and risk. And long after the circumstances of her final days fade from memory, her characters won't. They are already embedded in the fabric of film and television, not as nostalgia, but as legacy.